Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to participate. I understand the service of each of the witnesses today, and I look forward to continue working with you. I especially recognize your dedication as an alumnus of DOE headquarters and as being the only member of Congress who has worked at Savannah River Site, which I am very grateful that I represent, along with Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. I ask first the unanimous consent to distribute a memo dated November 20, 2015, from Secretary Ernest Moniz to the President, along with Section 3119 of FY16 NDAA.
Without objection.
I appreciate Chairman Mike Rogers providing for discussion multiple times before this subcommittee a major issue in shifting the United States plutonium disposition strategy from the mixed oxide fuel fabrication facility MOX at the Savannah River site. This method would require, by shifting, a renegotiation of the Plutonium Management Disposition Agreement with the Russian Federation. In a memo dated November 20, 2015, from Secretary Moniz to President Obama, the Secretary says in regard to the shifting of the disposition strategy, quote, "So far, we have no read on the MFA, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs response. This issue will need further interagency work in the context of overall complicated U.S.-Russia relations. There is a proposal abandoning MOX, where $4.5 billion has been invested for 70% completion, and shifting to a strategy that even Secretary Moniz admits we do not know or have any idea when the Russian Federation what they will ask in return. I'm concerned the admittedly complicated U.S.-Russia relations will lead to a swift and conciliatory negotiation which is not realistic. I'm concerned that we are without a plan if Russia asks for concessions that the United States cannot make. If so, we risk incurring the immense cost of resurrecting MOX and reassembling the workforce and infrastructure that are crucial to its success. We know that the proposed repository for the down-blended weapons-grade plutonium would be with the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant in Carlsbad, New Mexico. We know that the facility remains closed, yet WIP received less funding at the request of FY17 than in FY16. Keeping this in mind, there have been assurances that WIP would open as soon as possible, but how long after WIP reopens will it be operational? Additionally, on Tuesday night, led by Governor Nikki Haley and Attorney General Alan Wilson, the state of South Carolina was forced, as required by law, to sue the Department of Energy for up to $100 million in 2016, payable to the state of South Carolina as a result of failure to move 1 ton of plutonium from South Carolina, despite the state twice pushing back a deadline. This puts at risk the people of South Carolina and Georgia as a repository. Terminating this project does nothing to move material out of the region. This will not save taxpayers' dollars and will jeopardize nonproliferation. This committee should reject the President's proposal to terminate, and we should continue to move forward with construction to convert weapons-grade plutonium into green fuel. And in conclusion, General Klotz, Section 3119 of NY16 NDAA directed the Department to submit with the budget justification materials for FY17 an updated performance baseline. Can you tell us what the update is on this baseline status?
Thank you very much, Congressman Wilson. And let me just say at the outset, I know and respect the passion and the intensity which you bring to this particular issue, and I very much appreciate the fact that over the past couple of years we've been able to work very closely together in a very collegial and civil manner as we work through what is an obvious difference of opinion in terms of policy. And I especially appreciate the many trips that you've taken to the MOX facility with our people to discuss the issues that are there. Let me just say there was a lot in your question, but let me just say that, with respect to the Plutonium Management Disposition Agreement, the administration, the U.S. government remains firmly committed to disposing of all 34 metric tons of excess surplus weapons-grade plutonium, as we've agreed with Russia in that agreement. But over the last couple of years, there have been several efforts to analyze the current MOX fuel approach and alternatives such as the 2014 DOE review, which was actually the first thing I testified.
And General, I can't interrupt the General because you're too good.
No,
but the question about the baseline, what's the status of that? And the reason I like visiting MOX, you got a lot of professionals there that I like.
Thank you, sir. And believe me, they appreciate seeing you come down and other senior leaders come down. The language in the NDAA was, I think, passed in November of 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I'm told by my staff it takes as much as 18 to 24 months to do a performance baseline, and even more than I suggested to the chairman yesterday, several $7 million to do that. So there's just no way, unless we can make time stop between November of 2015 and to the submission of the President's budget, to do a full performance baseline in terms of the costs as requested there. Our sense still is, based on the reports that we've done, is that the dilute and dispose option is still a much less expensive and a faster way of disposing of this excess weapons-grade plutonium.
And I look forward to the baseline. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll defer the rest of my time to Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Congressman. And again, General Klotz, thank you for all of you for being here. But it does concern me that the law was clear, Section 3119. And so I hope whatever the baseline is, it can be provided. Because every other report that we've received, there were flaws as far as I'm concerned. Because each one failed to recognize that we have a proven technology, the mixed oxide fuel fabrication, because this has been done in France for nearly 50 years. And then I find when they claim that there are cost overruns, so much of that is because there have been changes in specifications, which the contractors then have by the department, and which then causes additional cost, and sadly that it's really frustrating to me that people would be critical when in fact it was due to changes in specifications. And then other issues that are just mind-numbing when it's stated that there's not for the green fuel the fuel will be produced, that there are not contracts for the fuel. Well, in the industry, people don't buy fuel to the last second because of the variations of price, which we see today in other energy fields. And when I hear that argument, I'm thinking that's just, and you hadn't made it, but other people have, other reports. And over and over again, there are misstatements that are being made that I think should be addressed and to achieve what can be so important of non-proliferation at a time with, sadly, the rising tensions with the Russian Federation. Over and over again, I can see positive of why this should be done. And so I really hope there'll be a change of course. And beyond that, Dr. Rigoberto, in the budget request for 2017, the traditional Savannah River Risk Management Operations Control Point was separated into two control points, environmental cleanup and nuclear material management, causing considerable confusion. Can you explain the department's rationale for this, and were the site contractors notified of the change?
Thank you for your question, Mr. Wilson. I do recognize that this year, the way the tables have been printed out are a little bit different than they have been done in the past, and we are providing in our website a sheet for everybody to follow and track exactly where everything is, which we'll be happy to provide to you too. In general, the budget request for Savannah River went up $111 million. This is actually a recognition of the mission of H Canyon, HB Line, L Basin, and L area. So with the plus up of $111 million, it allows us to continue to support those decisions. In addition to our traditional milestones, which are related to the processing of tank waste, we also have an opportunity to initiate another in-tank technology that we'll be testing in this starting this year and then into 18.
And
So-
thank you very much for referencing H Canyon facility.
Yes.
A world-class treasure that not everybody knows. So thank you.
I do use it every day, so I'm very happy that our funding is
Well,
properly.
I'm happy to meet you anytime and point it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I just add, Mr. Chairman, of course, H Canyon is extraordinarily important, not only to the work in the environmental management side, but also to NNSA. This is a key facility and one which we need to maintain for the long term.
Correct.